As it turned out, the larger record store that I spoke about in a previous video about where I could potentially sell the CDs that I got in the bulk lot, I was able to go to that store today because I was in town basically. Yeah. Even though it's about 40 miles from where I live. So I was in town or near the store. So I dropped in and was able to unload the majority of them. They wouldn't buy the Christmas stuff because, it's March, and they said to bring it back at the end of summer, and that's when they start to buy that stuff. So I'll probably just hang on to it, even though they're probably not going to give me very much for it. We'll see. Possibly not hang on to it, I don't know, because it's probably not going to bring that much. Sometimes reality doesn't quite meet your expectations. So for this bulk buy, I thought I would be able to get a lot more money for those CDs, and as it turned out, they're just not going for that much in a record store, even a very large record store that has thousands of people going through it every single day. So they only gave me cash for a very, very small percentage of the rest of the CDs that I brought to them. I probably brought them at least 450 CDs. Some of them new, still in the shrink wrap, and those are some of the ones that they actually paid cash for. So they bought, I don't know exactly the number, it was probably like 30 or so, for cash, or they're willing to give me cash, and they give me 20 bucks for some of the CDs, not very many of them. And the rest of them, which was probably close to 400, if not more than 400 of them, or no, actually, probably like 350 of them, or 300 to 350 of them, they only gave me store credit of 25 bucks. So that's kind of a wah. But they have a ton of really inexpensive CDs in this record store, anywhere between like $1 to $3. And it's just a matter of the next time that I'm there and I'm able to spend an hour or so, I can find $25 worth of CDs that I can sell on Amazon. Because while I was waiting, I looked through some of their CDs, some of their dollar CDs, and I found a couple that are potential that I could resell. So I'm sure if I spend a good hour and a half methodically going through those cheaper CDs, that I could probably find enough, find like 20 or so for $1 each, plus tax, spend the 25 bucks. You figure 20 of them, times, depends, but 5 to 10 times, getting $5 to $10 profit off of each of those. Even $5 is 100 bucks. So I can make up the money that I spent. So that's my plan anyway. So after I went through all the CDs from that lot and I listed them out, looked them up on Amazon, etc., priced them out, there were 68 of them out of the 550 bulk lot that I am going to send into Amazon. So 68 CDs, that's a lot. You figure it's going to vary. There's a good amount of those that are half, at least, that are probably going to go for in the 10 to 12 range. There's a few that are going for really good money, over $20. So it's gonna be a good return. I'm definitely gonna make a profit. And the other thing I like about CDs is they cost next to nothing to ship into Amazon, and they take up very little space. So that's a positive as well. I'm a little disappointed because I thought I could get more for those other CDs, but it just turns out that they're not worth that much to a record store. There weren't a ton of titles that could bring some money for them, because clearly, if they're gonna pay out for those CDs, they got to make a good return on them. They're gonna give me $1 for a CD. They're gonna have to sell it for, I don't know, $10 or whatever. It's nice though, because I got rid of 3 boxes of CDs. I just have the one left, which is nothing. So hopefully the next bulk lot that this guy gives me is even better than this one, but it's still definitely worth it. And also I got a lot of songs out of it as well. So I think doing bulk buys is definitely worth the effort of finding them, finding the sources that can get you large amounts of books or CDs. Overall, I'm definitely happy with the bulk CD buy. So look forward to the next one. Hopefully the guy has another one in a few months for me, and hopefully I can find some other people too. On the topic of CDs, one of the Facebook groups that I'm a part of, which is about selling books on FBA, there's a guy on there who sells a lot of CDs, and he was showing examples of CDs that he would send, that he is going to send in, and it kind of blew my mind of the ranks that he's willing to sell or willing to send in via FBA. You know, had one over 1 million and some over 300,000, and the prices were not that great. It just made me think of how important it is, I think, to have your own personal parameters for what you're willing to send in. Unless you have a strategy for moving the CDs quickly, then you know you might sit on them for a while that have the higher ranks. And also, you know, if it's going to have such a higher rank, you're probably going to want to, you're definitely, or at least I'm definitely going to want to make some good money off of that. I found that CDs are not quite as quick moving, depending on the CDs, of course. The more I send in, the more I sell, but books seem to sell all the time for me. You know, not as much as CDs, but then again, you know, it could be a case of just not having as many CDs in as I do have of books. I'd probably have at least 2,000 books, but a couple hundred CDs. So if I had 2,000 CDs, I'd clearly be selling a lot more CDs every day. And maybe I'll get to that point, considering that my storage limit is 10,000. And if I keep finding more CD bulk buys. I found another CD bulk buy off of Craigslist, but I haven't contacted the person yet. They live kind of far, not as far as that other bulk buy, but a little bit far. And you know, they want $500 for about 600 CDs. But again, you know, I don't know what they are, and I'd have to offer a lot lower money, so I might do it. Getting into more CDs is probably going to be good, or is going to be good for me to going forward. I think it's important for me, for instance, for CDs, I tend to stay under 300,000 unless it's going for really good money, and there's very few offers. But you know, if it's 400,000, 500,000 rank, and definitely if it's way up to 1 million or more, I'm probably not going to send it in unless it seems like it's a very rare CD, that there's just not that many copies floating around out there, and that it legitimately could sell for good money. And I would say at least, I mean, it's got to be bare minimum over $20, but probably more than that, probably more like $30, $40 or higher. And I have sold CDs for over $30. There's definitely people spending that kind of money on CDs that are just not, there's not that many of them out there, and they're willing to spend that money. I think you should have where your comfort zone is in terms of sales rank, but also, you know, how often the CD is selling based on camel, how many offers there are, and what the prices are, with not only FBA, but merchant fulfilled, and also how many other FBA offers are there. If you're the only FBA offer, then you're going to own that listing for FBA. If there's other FBA offers, you know, are they also high? Are the MF offers high? If the MF offers are high, that's good. That looks really good, even if it might take a long time to sell. So we'll see if I change my parameters for CDs, but I tend to try to just stay a little bit under like 300,000, but we'll see. Also, this guy was talking about pricing and how if you change the way you price, you can potentially sell your copy before someone else's. And that was based on, instead of making like a $19.99 or $7.99 or $14.99 or $10.95, which are typical, right? Ending in 95 cents or 99 cents, you could change it up and do something like $10.82 or $11.73. You know, something really random, like $9.91 or $19.88. You know, something that's a little bit different, that's not typical. I'm wondering if that actually works. I'm gonna price something like that and see. It's a psychological thing, I guess, for people, that maybe they see that the weird price doesn't look like it's a machine, that it more looks like a human did it, versus the 99, 95. They might think, oh, this is, you know, although I don't know why someone would think that. I mean, if I see, you know, thinking that it's like a repricer, but people don't even know what a repricer is. A typical consumer, you know, I certainly didn't before. So I don't know if people would think that, but maybe just because it's a different price, it stands out. It's not the typical price for an item. You know, maybe it'll catch people's attention and they'll buy it because of that reason. worth trying. Let me know if that's something you've ever tried or thought of. It's worth, you know, at least giving it a shot, maybe sending in 100 items priced like that, and see if they sell. But you know, you won't know if it really makes a difference unless you see a dramatic increase in sales, or you compare, you know, you send 100 items in priced the normal way versus 100 items priced the new way. Maybe worth trying though. Get out there and find those books and CDs, and remember, keep booking. Come on, chiquita. Come on, chiquita.